Hello, 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 and welcome to the Marketing That Grows Your Business show. I'm excited about today's topic because it's really about my story in some context, from the perspective of, leveraging the content that we create and monetizing it. So I think so often when we are, out there in the hustle and bustle of trying to figure it all out, that we don't always monetize ourselves to the fullest degree anyway. So if that's you, if you feel like you're just hustling and bustling and you haven't really figured out how to monetize yourself very effectively, then you are in the right place. We're going to talk about this, and more specifically how the opportunity as a content creator is so rich right now. And I think that's a big piece. Um, all right, so we have a black screen. Is that right? What you guys, is anybody having tech issues? Let me know, just making sure everybody can see me, hear me. Let me know if you're having tech issues. How about now? I tell you, yesterday we ended up having to reschedule because we had some tech issues. Black screen. Okay, let's try. Hang on a minute. All right, hang on. Let's see. Let me get the right. All right, how about now? Goodness. I thought for sure we had issues again this morning. So I'm policy and good now. I tell you, that's the craziness of live video. Okay, all right. So Rhonda's saying, I think I got everything organized. Hopefully everybody can see and hear me now. We are in the middle of nowhere. So when we end up with tech issues, I'm like, this internet is a problem here. But the show must go on, as they say. So thank you guys for bearing with us as we fumble through and get the tech issues ironed out. Hopefully we won't have any more. But anyway, getting back to the opportunity that the creator economy has given us, I'm excited about sharing this with you because, like I say, it's been absolutely my journey. From the time I started in social media, since I started blogging, all the things that a lot of us are out there hustling to do. So if that's you, then let's have this conversation and see where it takes us. And hopefully we'll spawn some ideas or some opportunities for you. So where in the world are you this morning? I am in Virginia still. In fact, we're kind of leaning towards maybe just staying here. The only real drawback, the view is amazing. I'm looking out the window right now and I'm like, oh man, the view is almost worth it. But the internet, I'm just saying, is a little bit of a problem. So we got Ed from Wesley Chapel. Hey, welcome, Ed. So glad that you're here. That's in my old neck of the woods. We were in Tampa for 18 years. And so, yeah, being here in Virginia has been a shift for sure. I tell people, I laugh and say, hey, you go to the middle of nowhere, hang a left, keep driving, and yeah, you'll eventually get to us. It feels like we're in the middle of nowhere. It's like 45 minutes to get to town. But the view is amazing and there are some perks. I don't know. So, Paul, always glad to see you, my friend. Hit the wrong button there. Barb says, in Virginia, an internet is less than desirable. Amen, sister. Like, that is probably my biggest concern. I mean, I operate an internet business. Like, I got to have internet. So we have got satellite. We've tried all the things. So far, it's not nothing has 100% yet. But we're keeping after it, and we'll keep keep going at it. We'll find a solution eventually, right? So we have what made us decide on Virginia. Well, I grew up here. So we're in my parents' home right now. My dad just recently passed away. And so we're just trying to decide what are we going to do with the home place? And who knows? We're just still trying to figure it out. Thanks for asking though. And I see you're in Wisconsin. Is it cold up there still? I feel like it's probably pretty good now. I think your Wisconsin weather is probably what a lot of us would like to have year round. Nice high 70s, low 80 kind of weather. I bet. So Vicki says the great state of Northern Virginia. Yes. So we're in the little tip, Vicki. So like Southwest Virginia area. Beautiful. It is beautiful here. I have to say that. But like I say, the internet is slightly, well, it's not a slight problem. It is a big problem, but we're working it. Okay, so let me do a couple of small things here. I wanted to share the giveaways for today. On all my shows, most shows we do guest. Today I'm going to be just talking about the opportunity that the creator economy has spawned for us, specifically as it relates to COVID. And how many new creators have come into the space. It's kind of almost like there's been an influx, so they had to create a name for it, right? So we'll talk about that just in a little bit more in a moment. But giveaways today, we're going to be giving away 2 of my How to Write, Publish, and Sell an Ebook course. The course about how to write, publish, and sell an ebook. So there are going to be 2 winners for that. And how do you win? So we have 3 core ways that you can win. The first one is share your aha moments. I'm having trouble talking this morning. Aha, meaning, hey, I didn't know that, or wow, I knew that, but I needed to hear it again. Because sometimes, have you ever heard the old saying that, my mom used to say this. She'd tell me something, and then somebody else would tell me the same thing, and I would listen to what they said, whereas she had told it to me 3 times already, kind of thing. So sometimes we're just not ready for the message until the messenger arrives, I guess. So the right messenger arrives. So those are the aha moments. Use the hashtag aha. We'll enter you guys into the Wheel of Wow. That's what we call it. And you'll have a chance to win. The winners will be announced at the end of today's show. Tag someone and sprinkle it out into the world so that we can get as many people as possible in here. If you know somebody that's trying to out there hustling, creating content, but probably hasn't monetized to the fullest extent that they possibly could, this is a great place that they can get some great information. Ask questions. We love them. We'll try to make sure we answer as many of them as possible. It's going to be a very interactive conversation today. I want to hear from you. I want your questions. Feel free to drop them in. We'll make sure we answer as many of them as we can. If you would like show notes, just drop in down under notes, and we'll make sure that you get them. We usually have those out within about a 24-hour window. That way you don't have to stress over taking notes, okay? Let's see. Oh, I love this. So Artist Heart Studio says, I'm already thinking, aha, over the influx of new creatives in the business. Good for my business because I'm an instructor. Yes, there's so much opportunity right now. It's just really stunning. And, it's kind of funny because, and I don't want to get too much ahead of myself, but the reality is that this is a space that's been around prior to the whole term of creator economy, but because there's been so many new creators enter the space, it is really just exploded. So let me share my screen with you real quick. I do have a few slides we're going to talk about as we kind of go along here. But the topic today is the creator economy is the next big opportunity. And I think this is an opportunity for us really in the regardless of where you are in your business, meaning, if you are an agency owner or an instructor or somebody that's a service-based business owner, there's tremendous opportunity. There's tremendous opportunity if you're out there trying to create content and become an authority or an expert inside of your area of expertise or your niche. Tremendous opportunity as well. So there's just so many avenues that you can approach this from, and so let's get into it and see what this actually looks like. We were going to talk. Normally, the Marketing That Grows Your Business show is Mondays at 10 a.m., but we had those tech issues yesterday. We almost had tech issues today, but we managed to iron them out. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about this journey. So I want to, and some of this you probably know, but I thought I would just really pull back in the kind of the transition from where, in the past, we had big media controlling our entertainment and what we saw and what we had access to. And the narrative was very narrow. And now you have social media, aka the web, the internet, the whole transition that we've had over the past 20 plus years. And now we have this opportunity to tune in to so many other avenues or lanes of information. And not only do we have that opportunity as a consumer, but we also have that opportunity as a creator. And this is what's so powerful in the context, from a creator standpoint, I or you would never have had the opportunity to voice an opinion or have a voice in big media, right? How would we have competed with national television, right? Or, been able to afford a commercial or any of the traditional model? We wouldn't have been competitive there. We couldn't have afforded it. So now social media gives us the opportunity to really step into that space to where we can create, we can have a voice, we can consume content. There's just so many lanes. And of course, with the advent of Web 3.0, which is a whole other space that is coming, it's not even coming, it's here. But I wanted to just talk about the transition from where we've traditionally been to the opportunity of where we are now and why that opportunity is so rich. With COVID in particular, and this is a fascinating thing because when you look at it through the COVID lens, we all were out there in the same boat, right? If you look at it in that context, worldwide, we all were impacted by COVID. And the opportunity was that, and I think I'm going to approach it through the opportunity lens instead of, oh my gosh, the deficit lens, we couldn't get out, we couldn't do blah, 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 right? We couldn't, all those were negative things in that context, but let's turn them around and look at them from a positive perspective because there were so many people at home, there was more opportunity for them to get creative. There was more opportunity for them to step into things that they were passionate about, things that they didn't have time for before. So that created an opportunity for them to step into things that they were passionate about, things that they could share out into the social space because the internet didn't go away, right? It was still there. And then, from a consumption perspective, you had all these new consumers who had way more time to spend watching video, consuming content, trying to figure out, how to monetize their passions, all these things. So it created this massive opportunity, which I will call the creator economy. And it is booming. It is a fascinating space. And I'm going to say in a moment, because I think that, like I said before, the creator economy isn't technically new. The term is new because, blogging's been around for years. Social media has definitely been around for years. But the term creator economy as I think, and I don't know, I saw a comment, who coined the phrase. I don't know who coined the phrase, but it is definitely a phrase now. And it is a huge space. So because of all the new influx of creators, and the whole opportunity that the economy, this new economy has brought to us, it's estimated to be about $2 billion and growing rapidly. There's about 50 million who is self-identify as a content creator. And this is interesting because this is 50 million, like not just new people, but I would even argue old people too. I mean, I would say I'm a content creator. How about you? Would you? And I'm going to ask this question in a minute too, because I want to compare it to another term that we commonly hear, which is influencer. So, 50 million self-identify as a content creator. But this is the fascinating part. 46.7 million classify themselves or self-identify as amateur creators. Now, I want you to wrap your head around this, and I want you to hang on to this thought. Okay, so there's 50 million content creators, 46, almost 47 million of them think they're amateurs. They're not really professionals, right? And then you've got about 2 million who classify themselves as professional creators. Big gap, right? So I want you to keep this in your head. Big gap. If there's a whole ton of people who are amateur creators, and then there's about 2 million of them who say, yep, I got this. I'm a professional. And I would argue that most of those are potentially earning revenue from their content at this point. But this is another fascinating dynamic. Traditionally, when you ask a kid what they want to be, they're like, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a doctor, or, whatever the thing is. But you ask a kid today what they want to be when they grow up, and a lot of them, 29% of them, in fact, will say they want to be a YouTuber. What? Think about that. Is that not like stunning? I think that's just a fascinating thing. Why is that? So let's talk about what a creator is real quick. And then I want to circle back to the kid example that I just gave you. What is a creator? Like, what is a content creator? A content creator makes and provides content for digital channels such as websites and social media and targets a specific audience. All right. Are you a content creator? How many of you are creating social media posts, or, you're blogging, or you are you've got a website and you update it, or like, how many of you are a content creator? I mean, if you think about it, most of us, if we have an online business, we are a content creator, right? Okay. So that means you're, again, creating blogs, maybe images for social, maybe video content. Yeah. Maybe you have a podcast. Maybe you're sending emails, social media. Absolutely. But those are all content pieces, and content is king. Content rules the day. So I would argue, and maybe you would agree with me, I would argue that content creators, or the content economy, has been around for a long time. It's just become a phrase because of the influx of all these new people. And that is why the opportunity is so rich right now. So I want to talk about the differences between what's a creator and what is an influencer, and which one you self-identify as in just a moment. So this is a fascinating thing. There's all kinds of phrases when we label ourselves, right? Whether it's a content creator, an influencer. And by the way, I think we all have influence. Just like we are all probably content creators, I would argue that we all have influence. It really doesn't matter whether we have, 1.5 million people in our social community like I do, or if you have 100 people in your social community, you still have influence. And I would even argue that the influence is greater within those smaller communities. So it's such a fascinating dynamic. Then you've got creator, you've got blogger, you've got photographer, ambassador, all these different like phrases, right? Most people though prefer to call themselves a content creator. I think that's a really interesting distinction. So what's the difference? Well, an influencer, and this is the biggie, an influencer is someone who can affect a buying decision in their community. So if you are a content creator, like you have a blog or a YouTube channel, or you're putting content out on social media, there is a difference between whether or not you have yet got to a place within your community. Most people who can affect a buying decision within their community are very connected to that community. They're giving lots of value to that community. They're connecting. They're relating to that community, and that community is connecting and tying into them over and over again because they show up consistently. But that's the difference, really, is there, and there it is a very distinct difference. So when you first start out creating content, more than likely you're not going to yet be an influencer. But if you stick with it and you create content that is going to give value to people, that group of people, that segment, that niche of people, then over time you're going to become influential in that space, meaning you're going to be able to affect a buying decision. You're going to be able to say, hey, look at these shoes, or hey, look at this phone, or hey, look at these glasses, whatever it is. I bought these on Amazon, you need them, or wherever. You're going to be able to affect a buying decision. And that's why so many brands are coming to influencers to collaborate, to connect with their communities, because they know those people have influence within that community that they've built, and they're willing to pay to get in front of that audience. So that's the difference between an influencer and a content creator. And I think they are very intricately tied together, by the way. I don't think you can be one without the other. I think as an influencer, you have to have content in order to be an influencer. Yeah, that's my two. I will stand by that. There may be people out there who would say differently, but I don't know how you could be an influencer without content. It just makes no sense in my head. So I want to know, how do you label yourself? Do you label yourself a content creator, or do you label yourself as an influencer? And again, keep in mind, you may think you aren't either. In this context, maybe you've never thought of it before. You may not have thought, well, yeah, I'm an influencer. Yeah, you are. You may influence a smaller segment of people, or you may influence a larger segment of people, or you may have a huge community. But you are absolutely an influencer and can be an influencer. And I would argue that most of you are creating content. You are out there, you're either blogging, you have a podcast, maybe you are putting content on social media, maybe you're creating video content. All those things are what builds that content, is what builds your influence and can potentially get you brand collaborations and things of that nature. But you have to be a content creator to ultimately be an influencer. You can't have one without the other, in my humble opinion. So this is the other interesting dynamic. It is easy to make money. And you may say, well, that has not been my experience, Kim. I've been struggling with this whole online business thing for years. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I made a little bit of money here and there, but it's feast or famine. I can't get clients consistently or whatever. But it really is easy to make money. You could be, and it could be offline or online. It's the model. It's a business model that is what makes the difference between being able to make money and not being able to make money. So if you're an accountant, for example, you can make money with that, right? If you are, in the online space and you are a service provider, you have a service that somebody else needs, you can make money with that. The disconnect usually is because you don't have a way to get clients consistently. And I think that is usually where the breakdown happens, where you say, well, it's not easy to make money. It's easy to do something you love. And this is very easy to embrace, right? If we love to garden, or we love to paint, or we love to whatever, fill in the blank. In fact, tell me what you love. Like, I'd love to know it. If you could do anything, money wasn't an obstacle, what would you love to do? Seriously, I want to know. So for me, I've got to a place where I I just want to enjoy what I do in the context of how do I make a difference for other people. That's been my driving force for years now. But I also want a business model that allows me to effectively help more people. And I've struggled with that, in all fairness and transparency to you guys. It has been really, especially in the past couple of years, I'm like, I'm not in the right vehicle. So, I was just talking to you about it's easy to make money if you have the right vehicle and the right business model, right? And I'm like, I don't have it yet. I just kept struggling. I couldn't find it, couldn't figure it out. Oh, that's a story that I'm going to get into in just a minute. But it's easy to do something you love. It is. If you could just do it and money wasn't an obstacle, right? You could be happy with that. Kim's saying she would love to work with dogs and animals. Well, the fascinating part is, and this is what's so amazing, for the first time ever, I think when you try to marry the two together, traditionally it's been very hard to make money doing something you love. So in fact, Kim may say, I don't know how I can make money working with dogs and animals. That doesn't make sense in my head. But that's what's so fascinating about this whole creator economy. It has opened the doors and the broad awareness to where people are able to have a chance to monetize what they're passionate about, the things that they really love. So you've heard the saying that it's an old saying, you'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do. And it's so true. If you love what you do, it's almost an obsession. It's like you get up every day and you're just fired up. You're like, yes, I'm going to go do what I love today. Fill in the blank, whatever it is. If it's work with dogs and animals, or it's painting, or it's, music, or whatever it is. Wouldn't it be amazing if that was your revenue stream? You can today. That's what's so fascinating about this. And what I think the shift, if I had to say, I said, I think the creator economy has been out there for a long time, but the awareness of it and the ability to monetize passion, I think, has not been as robust as it is today. And there's not been as many people, that have built models that support their passion. And now this gives us that opportunity. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Now, I want you to not focus on the fact that a lot of these examples are children, okay? But I did this very specifically because I wanted to show the broad range of ages. So I'm a little older, not old, but a little older. And I would say some of you might say, well, yeah, I'm a little older too, Kim. Am I too old or am I too young? So I just want to showcase that the opportunity is rich for any age, really. I mean, who would have thought that you could earn a living from sitting at home playing computer games? So now if I could just get my boys who love to play computer games to realize that they could actually make money doing that. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. Or teenagers that make money making funny videos from their backyard, or they don't even have to be teenagers. I've seen entire families embrace this creator model and, create YouTube channels or show up on social media in such a way that they just really attract people to them with their video content. Or 9-year-olds who have, millions of YouTube subscribers. Yes, this little guy, Ryan's World, if you go look him up on YouTube, he has an incredible business doing toy reviews. Toy reviews. Like, seriously? I want that kind of a job. I would love to open up a toy and play with it and review it on YouTube and boom, right? So incredible opportunities through just embracing something that they were passionate about. This little guy probably he gets exposed to all the new toys. Right? I'm sure all these toy companies, send him toys all the time. They want him to review their toy on his YouTube channel. And guess what? He gets paid to do so. So it is super rich. This opportunity is super rich right now. Okay, so those were some kid examples, but let me show you a couple of other examples. Here's an engineer who decided, hey, I don't really want to do this engineering thing. He said, I'm really passionate about writing. And he started a content curation agency with just $35. And the name of his business is Content Whale. You can look him up. And now he has about a $500,000 a year business doing something that he loves to do versus something he didn't really want to do. And interestingly enough, he spent a lot of money getting a degree as an engineer. And now he's totally went in a total different direction. That engineering degree is probably not making him one red cent. It's kind of like my master's degree. I have a master's degree in distance education. I've never earned one red cent officially in the context of that degree. I use it, of course, in this business, but for the most part, like I spent a lot of money getting that. It's not my passion. Therefore, here I am, right? Same for him. And I would argue maybe same for you. What is your passion and are you monetizing it? Could you monetize it if you had the right tools or the right business model? Here's Haley. Haley started a membership program for real estate agents called Coffee and Contacts. Her monthly revenue is about $155K. Monthly revenue. I'm just saying. Is this not incredible? The opportunity, it could be courses, it could be, any type of content, YouTube channels. You could put content on Patreon, or there's other platforms out there that can be monetized. There's just so much opportunity in the creator space today. It's super rich. And I just want to tell my story real quick. I feel like I'm a success story when it comes to this in the context of my journey. So I'm going to go back just a little bit. So when I first started embracing social media and trying to use it to grow my existing business at the time, I was just throwing stuff at the wall, like creating content, blogging, because somebody said I needed to. And then I guess it was that was probably my sixth business, which was more in the social media lane, where I was teaching other people how to use social media to grow their businesses, because it morphed into that. But it was a very one kind of lane business model, meaning I was trading time for money. And back then there were still a lot of businesses that didn't have in-house social media teams. Big brands. So I would get, consulting gigs, they wanted the strategy, all those types of things. But those types of gigs was you were constantly chasing the next one, trying to, who's the next client? You would have one great month, and then the next month you were, in the poorhouse again. And it was difficult to constantly be on that trading time for money wheel. I'd get asked to speak or whatever, but the reality was I was so overextended because one, I was, if I wanted to scale my business, I only had so much time, I could only sell so much of myself. And so I was like, I got to change this model. I'm creating content. I'm all over the place. I'm sending emails. I've got the blog going on. I've got this going on. And then ultimately all the time I was investing, AKA selling, I was just like, I can't do this. There's got to be a better way. And that's when I went down this whole road of trying to figure out what's the digital side of this. Like, how do I automate some of this stuff? How do I build funnels? How do I do all that? And I invested like 5 or 6 years, in a high-end mastermind trying to figure this stuff out because it wasn't a part of my skill set. And I saw all of my other peers in the same boat. The same boat, meaning they were trading time for money. They didn't have something, they didn't have a course, or they didn't have something that they could sell. They didn't have a service that they could scale. So I was like, okay, I gotta figure this out. So recently I had a conversation with my business coach, and I was trying to make this a whole other thing that I've been working on work. It just didn't feel exactly right. And so I was sharing a little bit of my backstory, and he's like, well, Kim, I don't understand. Why are you not teaching other people about this? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you've been doing this whole creator thing for so long. He said, there's so many people in this space. He said, they don't know how to monetize their business. I said, well, I don't know if I want to build a big agency and, try to do the work for people. He's like, no, you don't have to do that. He's like, what you need is more people that know what you know. You need to tell people, you need to teach people how to take somebody that's a creator and help them monetize their business. And this light bulb went off and I was like, oh, so if I could share what I know, then, even some of my peers who I know are still in that, trading time for money model, if they could shift their vehicle, if they could shift their business model, then they could actually have something they could scale, not sale, but scale and create a revenue stream that's consistent, right? So I'm like, a big light bulb went off in my head. And so, like I said, this is my story. I've done this. I've wrote the book. And this is, let me back up this is something I want you to lean in and hear. I wrote the book. I've got 1.5 million social media followers on all the socials, right? I've been on stages. I've done all the things. And let me tell you, this is something I wished I had known, is I didn't have a sound business foundation for most of that model. So I've made almost no money from my book. I've made money speaking on stages. I can't say I haven't, but I don't have much to send them back to that's, focuses in one lane, especially when I first started. So a lot of the opportunities I've gotten through social media have been under monetized to a high degree until I figured out how to monetize my model, the things that I was out there talking about. And that's a big disconnect, because how much money did I leave on the table because I didn't have that structure in place? So if I can take what I know, teach other people how to do this, not only am I stepping into a great opportunity in the creator space to help those people, but I can affect other people to help those people. In other words, I can create more me's to help the creators. I can't serve all those creators. I can't serve for 46 million people, right? I can't help them, or that many people. So let's talk about this. What is the solution to that? I want you to remember, again, there's almost 47 million people who are not monetizing their business to the degree that they need to. There's 2 million creators that are making about 6 figures, and yay, they have figured it out. But there's 47 million who haven't. This is stunning. And I want you to really wrap your heads around this, because 97%, a little over 97.5% of YouTubers don't make enough to reach the US poverty line. Wow, right? Even though many have over 10,000 subscribers. And I would argue you really only need 1,000 people following you to really have a successful business. What? Really? Yeah. If you have the right business model, if you are creating and serving that community, yeah, you don't need a ton of followers to have an amazing business. If the opportunity is so big, I've just been talking about the big opportunity, then why are so many people still struggling? And I can tell you, because I've been there, and I would argue that many of you might even be there yourself, which is why there's so much opportunity right now. So I'm going to tell you why they're struggling. They're struggling because either they don't have a business foundation, meaning they don't have an authority page that when somebody comes there, it immediately tells them, hey, this person's for me. They don't have a lead gen set up. They don't have anything that they're selling outside of their time. They don't have a funnel set up to where they could sell it at will, whatever it is that they have. So there's multiple things that are a problem factor. In fact, this is something we're doing with our clients. We've been doing all these things. The first thing we look at is, do you have an authority page? Do you have a lead gen? Do you have a funnel built out? If you don't have those things, social media doesn't matter a whit. The only way you're going to make money as a content creator is to sell your time. If you don't want to sell your time or your influence, that's one way to make money, and you can still do that. But wouldn't it be nice if you could monetize your entire platform, your entire influence, your entire authority, and build that authority out over time and continue to monetize it at a high level? Wouldn't that be nice? So if you are a creator, that would be lovely. If you see the opportunity, which is what I want to talk about, is opportunity always happens in the gaps. So if I'm saying that there's 50 million content creators and 47 million of them are amateurs that don't have the right business model because they're not making six figures at this point, that means they need you, or they need the process to get them to a place where they have the things that they need in order to monetize fully. So there is an opportunity here, not just for you as a creator, but potentially you as a service provider, or potentially as maybe even a new business model for you. If your business model is not working for you, if you're not making the money you want, if you haven't stepped into your passion, again, these are opportunities for you. I don't know where you are. Everybody would have a different perspective, a different place that they find themselves in today. But this is the interesting thing. One, you could build your very own 100%, I call it authority creator consultant business. You could do that from scratch. If you don't feel like your business model is where you want it to be, if you struggle and you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you're like, man, I'm just not where I thought I'd be, then maybe it's time to get into a different vehicle. I mean, sometimes we grow out of our existing vehicles, right? We trade them in and we get a new one. Maybe that's you. Again, not for everybody, but I'm just saying that might be you. Or if you're already an agency owner or a service provider who's, doing the thing, maybe you're doing social media management, maybe you're doing Facebook ads, maybe you are doing SEO, whatever your business owner or agency model or a service provider model looks like. If you would like a new income stream in an emerging market, you could do that. You could step into this creator space, serve this creator space, because they are looking for you. They are looking for solutions. And in some cases, they don't even know they need you yet. So I think that's another great opportunity. So if you are a creator, if you're a content creator and you haven't figured out how to monetize yourself, then this system could be for you as well. Meaning, what the authority creator opportunity is so rich again right now. So I call it the creator monetization system, because really at the end of the day, it's about taking your content, turning that content into an authority piece for you, and then monetizing it. How do you do that? And that's the disconnect that I see for, I would argue, probably 90+% of the content creators I see out there, is they don't have a vehicle that really monetizes their business on a daily basis. So, getting them to 10K a month consistently. I mean, if you're not there, I want you to lean in and hopefully listen to what I shared with you, because you should be there. You should be at least there. It is absolutely possible. It doesn't take that much to be at a 10K consistent run rate. If you're not there, I hope you will at least go back and listen to what I shared with you, because the opportunity is like sitting right there. I was at a conference one time, and the speaker said to the audience, he's like, I want you just to look around. And he said, I want you to envision that money is laying around everywhere. And, people started looking around, and, we're like, yeah, okay, I'm visualizing this. I can see money laying around everywhere. He says, I want you to really lean in and listen to this, because money is laying around everywhere. You just have to pick it up. And I'm like, that stuck with me over the years. And I'm like, okay, think about it. This is what I'm saying is, when there is opportunity, there is money laying around everywhere. You just have to know how to get it consistently and get your months up to that 10K or more per month. Again, you're looking at potentially 2 to 3 clients in this creator economy space, and that's it. So yes, it is possible. And I'm going to be releasing something that teaches what I just shared with you. Authority Creator is coming soon. If you want to follow along with this journey, and it might be for you. I'm not going to make that call for you, but definitely get on the wait list. Go to kimgars.com/authority creator and just get on the wait list. You can follow along with the journey. We're working hard to get all the pieces and parts in place. As I was talking to my business coach about this, and he shared this, he's like, why aren't you just teaching this? And I'm like, it was like this blinding flash of the obvious, and it never felt so right. I'm like, why am I not teaching this? Because it's been my journey. I found the solution to the problem, and yet there is literally 47 million people out there that need this knowledge, or you need this knowledge so you can go help those 47 million people, or a percentage of them, obviously. The thing is, we've got to create as many ambassadors in this, or service providers in this space, to help them create more revenue so you can create more revenue. So it's just one of those things that's like, it's a opportunity to know exactly what it is that they need, and help them get an outcome. That's the end goal here. So I saw a great question a minute ago. And I just wanted to, Vicky asked this question. She said, what do you think it takes to be an authority? And, I had this conversation with my business coach, and I said, dude, there's off the top of my head, I could tell you 50 things that are authority builders, right? I mean, the biggies in the normal context are things like books or being a speaker, but the reality is you don't need any of those things. What? No, at a baseline, you need an authority page, you need a legion, and you need something to sell. Wow. Okay. Everybody can do that, right? Maybe not everyone can get on a stage initially. Maybe not everybody can write a book initially. Maybe everyone can't start a podcast initially. But they can build an authority page. They can create the right content for their people. They can have a legion. They can sell something outside of their time. And if they did that on the front side of building out a massive audience, or as they built their audience, can you imagine how much more money they're going to make? Right? All right. All right. I saw it. Let's see. I'm just looking back to see. That was a great question. Let's see if there's any others that I didn't catch. I try to see them as I go along. Let's see. Hang on. If I didn't catch a question, Kim is saying, what is an authority page? Great question, Kim. It is, it's basically your website, and it doesn't have to be multiple pages. It could be one page. But when someone arrives on that page, you have to have a transformational statement that matters to them. It's not about you. In other words, when you say, I help, blah, 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 that's just self-serving, right? But if you can say, with some degree of certainty, let's say, what is it that they want? Maybe they want to create sales without a sales call, right? Maybe that's your thing. Maybe that's ultimately what you teach people, or how you help people. That's what you lead with, because then when they arrive on your page, they're going to see exactly what their problem is, and that you can solve that. So your authority page has to have what we call the clear messaging framework. We have a blueprint. There you go. I couldn't think of the word. We have a blueprint for clear messaging. It's basically just a framework that you use for an authority page. Great question. I mean, honestly, everybody stresses over their websites. It can take a day to build out an authority page, a couple of hours. If you are clear on your transformation, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. One of the things that we have done with our clients is really stressing that transformation, and then giving them the template that allows them to set up their page very quickly. So it just depends on how clear you are on how you serve. So great questions, you guys. Great questions. Well, I hope a lot of you will join the wait list because, like I say, I'm super excited about this. For the first time in a long time, I feel like this is my lane because I've done this, and more importantly, because my passion is so intricately tied to helping others make money, that this is like a twofold a process for me, because I can not only help the creator make more money with their business, but it can also help people serve that community. If you want to have a service-based business where you step up and help the creator space. One of the problems with being a service provider, in my opinion, is you're in a sea of other service providers, right? So you're always competing. If you're doing social media management, like how many people are doing social media management? How many people are doing Facebook ads for people, or how many people are doing SEO, or whatever your business is? The nice part about this is a new emerging market that not many people are serving. I mean, almost no one is really serving this market right now, which is why there's 47 million creators out there who are making no money, below poverty level revenue. So I'm just saying, opportunity is rich. But if you think of a question later, I'm going to be having this conversation for the foreseeable future. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Send us, you can send me a question on Instagram or Facebook or wherever suits you the best. If you think of something later and you're like, I wish I'd have thought of to ask that question. But feel free to ask any questions you have. All right. All right, guys and gals, thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully we'll be right back on track next week, same time, same place, Mondays instead of Tuesdays. But we do have a special guest next week. So let me know if you need anything in the meantime. All right, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and God bless.